Thank you very much, Andre. Thank you very much for the invitation for this very important event. There have already been mentions to data, the necessity for the existence of data for all languages in our multilingual Europe, but also the need for data infrastructures and the role they are expected to play in boosting research and innovation in language technology in Europe. Data infrastructures are soft infrastructures, unlike the hard infrastructures that we usually use every day, but also in the technical world, unlike computer farms, unlike clouds. Yet, very frequently, it is data. It is the data infrastructures, the soft infrastructures that are considered to be the crude oil of today's research and technology development. And this is not really hard to imagine if one considers the applications that we use on our mobile phones on a daily basis that make use of geographical data, of digital maps. They are all based on common, shared, geographical data sources and maps that have already been made available either by research organizations or by commercial organizations. And all these data are now fed into very useful applications, almost indispensable in our everyday life. But there is, apart from the mobile applications and the deployment of data for useful applications on them, there is evidence from many domains, in biotechnology, in earth sciences. There is evidence that data and tools become viable only when they become open and when they can be shared between either researchers or researchers and commercial players. What for? In an attempt to develop research, develop further research, but also technological applications, in an attempt to evaluate what we have been doing, but also to support innovation. There are two very important examples that come out, that bring rather out the importance of data sharing. We all know the Human Genome Project. Making the Human Genome Project results accessible resulted in leveraging about €3 billion investment in research, which in turn resulted in almost €500 billion economic activity. Another very recent example concerns the research for Alzheimer's disease, the battle against Alzheimer's disease. And actually today, the 21st of September, is the World Alzheimer's Day. Recently, Alzheimer's researchers pulled genetic data together from different sources and discovered 5 genes and important evidence about the potential workings of the disease. None of these, neither geo-applications nor all the advances that we see in biotechnology and also in medical research, could ever have happened if data had not been shared and if all the appropriate mechanisms to support data sharing were not there. So what about language? What about the most complex cognitive faculty? And what about language technology, which is the technology that we unconsciously use every day? Hans gave lots of examples. As researchers, we observe that on a daily basis, on all language technology-related lists, the corpora list, the linguist list, the machine translation list, etc., there are requests for parallel corpora to build machine translation engines from English to X. Parallel corpora that are syntactically annotated, that may be aligned, that are validated or non-validated. But also recently, and there was a mention of Twitter by Kimo, there are requests about data coming from social media streams. But not only data coming from social media streams, but also tools that can operate on social media streams at a very low level, like, for instance, language identifiers in social media streams, language identifiers in Twitter streams. Although there is this high demand, only a portion of language resources is known, only a portion of it is announced, shared, and traded, despite the fact that we all know that data collection, cleaning, annotation, curation, and maintenance is a very, very costly business. So if we are to make any progress, then we need to make available all those mechanisms, all that multidimensional machinery, scientific, technical, legal, organizational, societal, that would allow us to make our data shareable, recyclable, and if possible, which I strongly believe it is, amenable to repurposing. So let's go green. And there are many reasons in our domain to go green. Language resources, data, and tools are not monolithic objects, they are dynamic living entities. They evolve over time in various dimensions. They evolve in the same, along the line of, along the lines that language evolves, language itself evolves. So language data change in quantity, they change in annotation levels. There are new annotation levels that are needed day after day, depending on applications. They are converted to new formats. The new languages are added, especially when one considers the multilingual aspect of technologies. Language technologies, language data are usually the product of collaborative work. Take, for instance, all the huge parallel corpora in all 23 languages that were recently released by the JRC Center. It is the result of common work of many groups, and yet they may come with varying restrictions. Restrictions that may have a technical basis, or most frequently, they have a legal basis. So what we need is solutions that enable all of us, every language resource provider, at any level, at the individual level, at the lab level, at the organization level, to be able to describe, document what we have, to create a store, our own store of language data, to be able to link our own store, our own repository, let's say, to a network of the stores and repositories of other providers so that sharing can be enabled. And we need all those mechanisms that make us feel secure and safe so that we always know that we can keep track of the use of our resources, and possibly, if we want, and if we deem it necessary, to be able to trade our resources, either through financial transactions or through an exchange for other resources. On the other side, we need solutions that enable every language resource consumer to discover what language resources are suitable for his purposes, to get information about them, and as easily as possible, download or acquire them. This is the rationale of what has already been mentioned by the previous speakers, METASHARE. METASHARE is a platform that tries to match language resource providers and language resource consumers' needs and expectations by doing the following things: enhancing the visibility, the documentation, the identification, the availability, and the preservation of language data and basic language processing tools, those tools that in the current methodologies are already involved in the development of language data sets that would later on be deployed in more complex application developments. METASHARE is an open, non-monolithic, expandable, and secure infrastructure that initially targets the human language technologies domain. So what you can find there is data, but also tools that people can use for developing human language technology applications, mainly. Later on, the target audience will be extended to the wider audience of language professionals and language researchers, irrespective of the specific field they may be curing. Kimo said that the story of language resources is a long story, and it really is. And I'm really happy that it does not end, in the sense that if it ends, then either the problem has been solved or the problem has been abandoned. If the problem is solved, everything will be fine, although the probability is rather low due to the high complexity, as I said before, of the linguistic faculty. If the problem is abandoned, then most probably something really wrong has happened. So what METASHARE tries to do is to launch a long-term multidimensional endeavor. It is not just the technical dimension of it. There are a whole range of things that you can arrange in this somehow modern sharing society that we're trying to build. It is a long-term multidimensional endeavor by which language resources are expected to contribute to boosting research, technology, and innovation through wide availability, pooling, openness, and sharing. Don't be afraid by this slide. It may look technical, but it is not, and it will be simplified. So in the METASHARE world, every lab, every individual producing resources can be mapped onto a repository. And by mapped here, I mean can set up his own repository or can link, can join a repository. So imagine that you have many such stores, many such repositories. And then the information that resides in these repositories about data is collected in many other, let's say, central repositories, central catalogs that are replicated in many different servers. Suppose then that you are a user, that you want to access METASHARE, you just register, and then you can search and browse all the repositories that you see on the downside. You can license, you can download, you can get information about the use of your resource or the use of other resources, the relation of your resource with other resources, and later on, you will be able to get services like billing and payment if a resource comes with a fee, and at the same time, you will be able to get mappings, links of what you have in METASHARE and what people have put in METASHARE with what people have put in other repositories like the Clarin repositories or LDC and the like. So let me quickly give you one or two screenshots from the existing METASHARE application that is already being used by 37 organizations, all over Europe. Providers get all the necessary technology that allows them to easily document their resources. Documentation also comes with all the licensing terms, if you want, the terms and conditions under which you want to share, to make available your resource. Users can search the inventory, can get information about all the resources that can potentially fit their purpose, their need. They can choose specific resources and get more information about them. They can directly, electronically license them by clicking a button, and they can use them at any time. For all possible questions, technical, legal, etc., the platform comes with a user forum that is an electronic user forum in which you can see all the questions that have been posed and all the answers that have been offered. As far as the organization is concerned, METASHARE is a community that obeys to a charter that lays out the principles of sharing. Our charter is available on the MetaNet site. Following the charter, we have built and we make available, if you want, licensing templates that help you decide on the terms and conditions that you want to impose on your resource that is about to be shared, okay? There are various dimensions. I will not go into the details, but what I want to assure you of is that our license kit, let's say, takes into account all possible dimensions and tries to provide answers to all possible questions and inquiries that people may have when they stand in front of a resource and they say, okay, what can I do with this? Can I share it? Do I want to share it? Do I want to share it for research? Do I want to share it for commercial purposes? Do I want to share it for free or for a fee, etc.? So all these dimensions are already present in our licensing kit, and there are good, I hope, easy to understand guides on the MetaNet site. The one word about the legal world, it is a complex world, we do know. There are some pieces of advice that we would like to give. Clear your stuff before you share or before you open. Make sure that you have the right to share it. Use standard licenses to the extent that you can, but we're pretty sure and experienced so far that all of us can fit, if you want, in the license kit that has been prepared. Don't limit access unless you absolutely need or unless you are obliged to. Don't limit access. And of course, for anything that you may need to resolve questions in this complex world, use our METASHARE services, help desks and user forum. As I said before, it is a communal structure, okay? It is a community that is organized in 4 concentric cycles. In the red cycle, you have all those organizations that provide core and user support services. In the blue circle, you have all the repositories. If somebody feels that he does not fit in either the red or the blue circle, then the orange circle is appropriate, okay? You can use any of the depositories to deposit and make available your stuff. So all possibilities are open, and there are procedures, okay, for all types of membership and contribution. To sum up, I will not repeat the importance of language resource infrastructures. What I say is that we try to provide an answer, if you want, the first bits of an answer to the challenge that Kimo mentioned. We provide software that is open source under a permissive license that allows you to set up your repository and link to a network of other repositories. We provide all the necessary legal instruments. We provide mapping services to resource inventories, and we provide user support services, either software-based or human-based. In the months to come, what you now see when you visit metashare.eu will be much more populated. We currently have around 1,500 resources that are available. Okay? In the months to come, we will have many more nodes and many more resources. ELRA is with us. ELRA supports the METASHARE project and the METASHARE concept. And as there is just one point, many times there is a question concerning the sustainability of these initiatives. This is, as I said before, this is a community collaboratively built infrastructure. And we are happy that we already have the commitment of 20 of our members, at least 20 of our members, and there will be more in the future, to support the initiative materially, okay, by providing resources, by providing services, by maintaining the software, by providing bug fixes, etc., at least for the period until 2015. So my pledge would be, come on and join METASHARE, share your resources, benefit from the resources and the work of the others. Thank you very much.
Thank you.